Thanks everybody for being here. I'm going to take a little artistic license. If my parents were good cop, bad cop, my mom was the good cop. I don't have a lot of don't tell mom stories. I do have a fantastic don't tell dad story, and my sister is in the audience to back me up on this because she was my accomplice. But my dad was this big, unforgiving Catholic Italian, and he had a temper. He was very lovable, but he had a temper, and I was a gangly, clumsy teen, and I broke a lot of things. And the name of the story is Sorry to Break Your Bubble. But I would just, one time I was doing Pete Townsend windmill guitar moves in my bed, jumping up and down. And I broke the lamp on top of my bed, and I can still hear his voice. He said the same thing every time. Damn it, Dominic. One time I elbowed the screen door when I was having a temper tantrum as like a 5-year-old. Damn it, Dominic. But anyways, you get the point. So he had this monster 1972 Chevy van. He loved this van. He kept it for over 25 years. It was like a utility van with like the metal floor, but he put carpet in it. And he put wall-to-wall paneling in this van. He loved this thing. He had it converted from stick to automatic when he found out my mother was not a good stick driver. Anyways, this thing was like a foreign automobile to me until one weekend he went to the beach with my mother and took the other car, the little K car for some reason. He said, hey, if you and your sister need a car, there's the van. So we're like, what are we going to do with this van? It was 1985. We were like 16, 17 years old. There was not much to do in New York. And we're like, you know what? Let's go see Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And if you've never seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, watch it after the show, after the story slam. The story will make much more sense to you. So we went, we thought it was a hysterical movie. And then it was over and we're like, what do we do now? Again, 16, 17, New York, nothing to do. There was no under 21 nightclubs. So we cruised around in this 1972 wood paneled Chevy van looking for trouble. Now, this is the part where I'm going to lose some sympathy from you guys, but I was an obnoxious, garbage teenage boy. So we went to the place where kids parked and did things, and we turned off our lights and we trolled right up to them. And then when we got to the cars where these kids were doing whatever, we turned on the high beams and honked the horn really loud and watched them in their various states of indiscretion pull it together. And to add insult to injury, as if that wasn't enough, I climbed out of the van, walked upon the roof, and did the tequila Pee Wee Herman dance. I owned you guys. And we're just laughing until crack. This van had one of those like plastic bubbles that you vent like are in campers. My dad had that installed because we would camp in the van sometimes. And I stepped on it and cracked it. I'm like, oh my God, I broke the bubble. Damn it, Dominic. I could hear his voice. This was 1985. There were no 24-hour Walmart, so I had to find crazy glue at a Sunoco. I paid an obscene price for it. And I glued this bubble back together. And we drove home and I'm like, I'm going to get away with this. I was still nervous. He got home the next day, never said anything. Weeks passed. I'm like, I'm off the hook. And then it rained. And I went outside the next day and I see him with a new bubble in a box. I don't know where you buy them. And he was replacing the one. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to tell him. So I went up and I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I must have hit a tree limb or something. My bubble is cracked and is leaking. I'm like, I'm saved. That's it. Not the end of the story, because every family gathering, when my father was in a good mood, happy, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever, my sister would be like, you need to tell him. I'm like, no, I'm not telling him. Christmas, you need to tell him. Thanksgiving, you need to tell him. Summer vacation, you need to tell him. I never told him. Until 35 years later, he was in Health South. He was only going to be around another more month. We didn't know this. He had lots of visitors in and out, but there came a point in the evening where it was just my sister and I. This was in 2012. And she turned to me and she said, you gotta tell him. So I looked at him, I said, Pop. And he looked at me and I said, in 1985, I did the Pee Wee Herman dance on top of the van and cracked the bubble. It wasn't a tree limb, it was me. And I fully expected him to wake out of his half slumber and be like, damn it, Dominic. But he didn't. He just went. And like a good Italian Catholic son, I absolved myself in some weird reverse deathbed confessional. So, Pop, I'm sorry I broke your bubble, but my bubble was burst when you left us. Thank you, everybody.